Good evening and welcome to Insight Check, where we go through our previous adventure, most recently, the Book of Wild Magic. With me tonight, some of the cast from last week. We have our two authors and we have two of our players. Would you mind doing a quick intro of yourselves? We'll start with the authors, so start with Stephen.
Hi, I'm Stephen or Stephen Trung. I am co-author of Book of Wild Magic, and I written many modules for Adventures League. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the game.
Thank you. Over to Hugh.
Hi, I'm Hugh. Hugh Lee. I'm also a co-author of the Book of Wild Magic, and I also assist Stephen in any writings he may have as well. And a season one player.
Yeah, we certainly remember your season one player. I've forgotten their name, but I certainly remember things that happened. Hello, over to Mike.
Hi everyone, I'm Mike. I played the gnome evoker Braddock, and was very happy to be teamed up with another vertically challenged wizard in Zena.
And hello, Joel.
Hey there, I am Joel, and I was playing Romain, a wonderful, fun-loving hobgoblin monk fighter, but fun-loving, we'll say. But yeah, no, good to be here. Nice to see Hugh again, because I haven't seen him since last season, being that I'm not normally down there with the Melbourne gang.
And I'll introduce myself. I'm Donna. I play Zina, the gnome war magic, who is not quite as vertically challenged as she started out. Go tall, Zina.
True. Love some wild magic.
We're going to talk a bit about wild magic tonight as we go. I'm going to start with some questions for our authors, and then we'll do some questions for players. And I've got the questions from primarily from the audience. So one of the questions from the audience for Stephen and Hugh is, what was it like co-writing the module together? How did it evolve over time? And were there any early changes that you can share with us, like things that you had to change?
Okay. First up, we are best friends. So we talk constantly. That doesn't mean we have differences of opinions, especially on how this formed. Also, because it was a 2-hour module, and Hugh has great ideas. I think some of the most unique ideas in terms of creativity, but getting it onto paper is an experience.
Yeah.
What adjective would you add to experience there?
Frustrating.
Hugh, what's it like from your perspective?
Well, I'm not very great when it comes to writing, to be perfectly honest, which is why it is definitely a struggle to put things onto paper. I am an overthinker, so a lot of these ideas have been thought about, rethought about, and then over again. And then when I do come up with an idea, maybe it's a few months after, I then try to explain it to Stephen. Stephen is the complete opposite to me. He's a good writer. He's well versed in English, and he can put stuff onto paper. However, he can't understand certain concepts, which
on first try.
On the first try. So
it takes a bit of to pull the strings, to unravel whatever he was trying
by
to
chaos, essentially. So which is what happened pretty much in the Book of Wild Magic. There was just me explaining, he not understanding, and then over and over again. I think we got to a fair
compromise, yeah. But
compromise.
It's interesting to see the differences, because I think I know who asked this question. If not, it's the question also asks, how did the module change?
Yeah.
Hill, what was your original idea? Because I let Hill just go off, try to write something, and it was great. It was just also because originally the amount he wrote or the round he planned around was technically a 4-hour module,
Yeah.
and we had no time to do that. With trying to cut it down to a 2.
So what was the starting concept, Hugh?
Oh, the starting concept was more around we would start, I guess, randomly somewhere in the city, and then some weird creature would just pass over, and then it would affect everything using wild magic. They'll be transported to another dimension, and then we would play into the aspect of time by traveling through, I guess, a dungeon, an old crypt, and then time travel to when the crypt was actually a lot more in use. But that was the very first draft.
We've kept the skeleton. We've kept the
You did
skeleton.
keep that skeleton.
We've
Yeah.
kept the skeleton.
Yeah. The
It
very
is,
first draft.
but
yeah.
what we'll get to it. But like there were a lot of changes in the creatures.
Oh yeah, right.
So
I was wondering when the the glitter unicorn,
there was
came
also
into the
more.
picture.
There was actually a more, I would say, necromantic element, more
Uh-huh.
original corrupting element to it, and more. There is a time element which we've kept, but there was definitely a more time element which would have worked better in a 4-hour, because
Yeah,
the original title of the cover would have been Sign of the Times,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, so that was the original title.
So
Until
if you could do this as a 4-hour, what other things would happen in the story?
and I'll talk after this, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, in terms of I guess the story, we'll expand more on, I guess, how the lore about wild magic,
Mhm.
and then how it plays into, I guess, the other modules as well, and maybe explore a bit more about Dead, given the opportunity, but given the time restraints, and we want to at least have a medium where people can just cause their own chaos, I guess, and riff off any like role playing and stuff like that. So that's just something that we had to take into consideration.
Yeah, if we had time, and when it came to me doing a lot of the play testing and modulations, and also getting people's feedback, people saw, especially maybe not in your playtest, but in other playtests, they saw, oh, I felt like I could have done something for the other members
Oh yeah.
of the Forgotten, the other disciples. Like there could have been trials for them to save them instead of just saving one to save the others. If we were doing a 4-hour, you could have done little mini trials to get into different rooms. But yeah, that's how the modules changed.
An audience question for the audience question says for Hugh. We'll see if you can answer this. Otherwise, Stephen, was the time travel mechanic inspired by Back to the Future?
Yes, it was actually inspired by Back to the Future.
Does somebody know you and know that that's a favorite film or something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It was.
I didn't know if it was
I was
in-joke.
watching a lot of, because I wanted to explore the aspect of time travel.
Yeah.
For a while now.
Mhm.
So pretty much just watched a lot of different time travel movies.
Oh yeah, right.
You're also a big Doctor Who fans.
I am very big Doctor Who fan. But yes, one of the movies I was watching whilst I was brainstorming was Back to the Future. And some elements also within the module came from Indiana Jones. As well. And I kind of
like the dungeon delving kind of things, or
Yeah.
I haven't watched Indiana Jones for ages, like possibly as many years as it's out.
In the original draft, there was definitely there was a hand-on element to take something from a table and have to replace it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we had to cut it.
Yeah, right.
So had to cut it.
I have one more audience author question that's related to something that you said, so it'll give us a chance to expand it out. Did you, and we asked Johan this as well, did you come up with the story first and add monsters, or decide what monsters you want in it and then write the story around that? I think you partly answered this.
Okay, so me and Hill are very different style of authors and creators. Hill is about concept. Me, it's about I am for the monster. Whether it's the big NPC or the main BBEG, I will look up usually what monster I want to check and run with, and that's how I frame and figure out a lot of the other things around it. Sometimes I do have other concepts and then bringing the monster in, but I usually am always 100% confident in the monster I want to bring in. And it was different in between the version we made, because it was 2 hours, and the original one. I would have loved to have tried what he originally wanted to plan out, but the time constraints.
So what was that? Come on, you got to tell us the monster.
It was I believe it was a
special type of undead giant.
Yeah, it was a frost giant skeleton.
Oh yeah, right. That is not anywhere near as good as a rainbow unicorn.
No, it wasn't.
There's a reason why we added in the unicorn, because it's wild magic. And the context is, Heal in my Spelljammer campaign was a wild magic sorcerer. And he kept summoning a unicorn.
Oh, did he?
Yes. The context is though, the context is although I made the unicorn hate being summoned by him.
Mm-hmm.
Because the amount of times in these situations where he's being summoned is literally like, oh, I'm summoned, I'll help you. But then, oh, I got hit by a dragon or something, or hit by a whole ship. And then, yeah, poof, back out. So every time he comes back after the first few times, he's like, I hate you so much. And he has to roll, as his character has to roll to try and persuade him to help.
It's a very interesting relationship there my character has with that relationship with that unicorn.
And also because the unicorn is Moon Color, which is a famous AL unicorn.
Oh, is it?
Yes, there's a few adventures with a reference
Bright Star Moon Silver.
Yeah, Bright Star. Oh no, this is Moon Color.
Moon Color. Sorry.
Yeah, there are a few of them, and I always get confused. So I chose the most simple one, which is Moon Color, because it's a fun name.
Is it like a Faerun lore?
No, it's
unicorn, or just like it happens to be in some modules.
It happens to be in some AL modules.
Yeah, right.
And I've just used it as well because it's just, hey, I like this name, and like, let's give it a name. This would be the unicorn from the wild magic that keeps getting summoned, and it's just either gonna hate being summoned, depending on who summons it, or loves being summoned, depending on who summons it.
Well, while we're on Moon Color's name, we do have another question related to this, which is, and this one's one for everyone. If Moon Color wasn't called Moon Color, so you just have to ignore that for the moment. What would you call the rainbow unicorn and the goth unicorn? And I probably should have given you some thinking time on this one. And this is a question for everybody. So whoever thinks of one first, which is not me.
My immediate reaction is like, how can I do a pun on Dark Horse Candidate?
Uh-huh.
But it's not coming to me.
Give us a moment.
The rainbow one clearly would have, like, I don't know, you go candy, fairy floss, like that's, cotton candy. Dark, wasn't it black skin, red dark maroon mane? You'd be like, you'd have to lean into like the death and blood side of things from a naming.
I reckon if you went back to Melbourne Cup, horsies, we'd find some good names.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know anything about like horsey sport.
Something like, all right, this just came to my head, like Onyx Desolation. Or
Onyx. Yeah, Onyx has to be in it for the dark one. So yeah,
I'd go to something because of the lore. It's like it's very old or very sort of mythological names with unicorns, or like even because the rainbow color, you go with Iris.
Hmm.
I'd probably find like a candy that reflects the same color. It's like licorice whip. Oh, and I don't know. Skittles something. I don't know.
Taste the rainbow.
That's rainbow, right? Yeah. Naming isn't really my strong suit, guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
certainly
you
not
put us on
mine.
the
But I
spot,
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've ignored the fact that I meant to be answering, some of the player questions as well. But name puns, like either they'll come to my head immediately and I'll be like, "This is the funniest thing ever," or they will never come to my head. So the time when it will happen is like the moment we hit stop, and I'll be like, "Oh, I've got the best name."
I bet there's like a bunch of good ones in the chat already that we just
I
like
can
people,
check.
Yeah.
I can check. What
people
do we
just
got?
screaming at us, be like, say this.
We've got Jared Nay, Gerard Nay, Goth Unicorn, Dark Eyeliner, Ebony Darkness, Dementia, Raven Way. I don't know if that's meant to be read all together.
It's a reference to My Mortal fan fiction or something.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's funny looking
Well
at
done.
the chat because it's on delay, and now I'm distracting myself. We were also talking a moment ago about wild magic, and clearly this module had quite a lot of wild magic in it. For players, what were your favorite wild magic moments?
Stephen knows. It definitely wasn't one that I was a part of, but it was something that I heard
Uh-huh.
from another table. I think it was probably like a few minutes in, when they started introducing the characters. One of them rolled on the wild magic table. It eventually ended up as a fireball, and then everyone died, even the quest giver. So I think that when that happens, and no one knows what to do, and the game just ends, I think that's just like the funniest thing I can think of. But yeah,
Is that Tez? That was
That was
Tez, right?
Tez.
That was
definitely-
Tez with
That's so in character.
with Robert. That was Tez with Robert as DM.
What about for this module? What were your favorite wild magic moments in this particular one, Joel and Mike?
When we got the piercing vulnerability, and then
yeah.
in
Is
the
that-
final combat, we were facing vine blights that do piercing damage.
And
Oh.
the unicorn's horn, which is piercing, and I'm like
Ugh.
right in front of it, going, "Oh God!" And then people thankfully coming out with "Don't worry, everything's necrotic damage." I'm just going,
No, I had to reread that. Wait, what? There's no piercing. It's all necrotic. Oh wow.
That's all right, because somebody fireballed the little fellas, so they couldn't pierce us.
Yeah.
"Yes, that was well done."
Good with
Any other great wild magic moments?
Look, I love Mike's hair falling out, but I don't know if I think Mike the player understood the hilariousness in it. Mike's character though.
It's just the whole like character art was like the character's look is inspired by Timothy Chalamet in Dune Part 2 with those like slicked back flowing tresses,
Yeah.
and just having all that fall out it's devastating.
We actually have a specific audience question about Braddock's hair loss, which is, given that it occurred in an atypical wild magic zone and the DM didn't specify that it would regrow in 24 hours, is what it says in the table. Canonically, is Braddock's hair loss permanent?
It's not. I think what we'll go with is it's not permanent, but it will grow back at the normal rate. So
Right.
in the next adventure, he'll just have like some peach fuzz coming back.
I was pretty sure that the DM said that this was permanent, because
Oh.
Xena does not want to like get shorter. I was like, great, Zinna is now a foot
Oh, no,
higher.
the thing is though, wild magic doesn't with height it's permanent.
Oh, is it permanent?
With
Okay.
height,
Yeah, the
I thought
height
you
one
especially
just
is.
said
the height
permanent.
and age is permanent. Everything else is dependent on sort of rolls of dice. With the hair,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
it falls out and then it slowly regrows. That's
What?
always the way.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the hair one says it grows back in 24 hours.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna check it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That was the audience question that it's like normally says within 24 hours. I might have been thinking about it because I was excited about the permanence.
Oh yeah,
of
you're
being
permanently 10
Yeah.
inches taller.
taller. Yeah.
All right, 55 to 56. Your hair falls out but grows back within 24
24
hours.
hours.
So
Right.
I'm showing up to syncopated denouement with full regalia.
Good. Good. You won't have to get a new mini.
That too.
That's it.
Joel, any other favorite wild magic moments?
Oh, look, there's been so many. And how many games have I played?
I mean, in
Over
this
how many
one.
games?
Let's do
Oh,
this
in
one
this
for the
one.
moment.
This one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
in this one. Look, I think just generally, and I like obviously it's not so much a wild magic moment, but more how Stephen took Ari casting the banishment on Dead right at the beginning to give us that let's
Yeah.
take this into the whole we all get sucked in to the portal and to basically put us into the adventure itself where I don't know, like I'm assuming, and Ari's not here to tell me whether he had any insight into this module or not.
He did
I'm
not.
assuming it's not expected that we try to banish the quest giver.
It wasn't expected, but it's just the way the module calls it out is any action you do, like grab, spell, whatever, will
Mhm.
activate the book, and the book will flutter out. And like the old timey-wimey classics, like the book sucks you in, like
Yeah.
Narnia,
Right, okay.
or like what was that one with one of my favorite, a never-ending story. You get sucked into the book.
Yeah. I think
Was
the whole
it any like magic thing?
But yeah, any magic thing. But because it was perfectly banishment, I
banishment.
was able to flavor it in that because he casted banishment, the book uses his banishment to make you guys get sucked in.
Almost,
Yeah.
wild magic surged and banished us all into that I think that was, of course, I could see that Ari as a player
Right.
was just like, this is, I'm doing this, and then it turned into us being sucked in and continuing the adventure. I was like, wow, I love that. Can I ask a question of Stephen and Hugh
Yes.
because it just sprung to mind, and I don't think I actually clarified this on the night. Did the book actually belong to Dead?
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Yeah, what's
Yes.
the story
Okay.
with
yeah, I need to know the
How did Dead get the
backstory of
book?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I've left it open. So the book is supposedly belonged to the Forgotten, the ancient chaos sorcerer from long ago, and he had it, for ages, and it's been passed to different hands over time, and then it ended up in a vault. Dead stole it technically, or took it back, and there is a timey-wimey question, and I've left it very open-ended. And it may not be noticed in that module, but it could be in other interpretations. Is Dead a reincarnation of the Forgotten?
Right. Okay.
Because it's left open. It's like he could be, he could not be, or he's just
Well, hold on. There's a reincarnate wild magic
Yes.
surge, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
That is why I added that element. Just that hint.
This guy
just that
right
Easter
here.
egg.
That's
Yes.
smart writing.
Yeah.
And also you hear technically at the end of the module, Dead says, "See you in time."
Right.
So that's
Ah.
the
I
love
think I
that.
need to read the module, especially
Yeah.
like for time travel stuff. It's really hard to like catch all the backwards and forwards references in the moment. And I love time travel novels. They're my
Yeah.
favorite kind.
Yeah, time travel modules in AL are always the ones where you literally need to sit there and like with a notepad and oh god, this does a throwback to the season 8 that the first 3 modules, and when we first ran them when we had the preview in Singapore, where we literally had to sit there with all 3 modules with 6 to 8 of us as DMs planning and understanding how each module connect as we went through 3 different time phases. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fun once you understand it.
Yeah, I think that's maybe,
So
maybe I
difficult
have
at
trouble running those ones.
No, they are definitely difficult, and I dabbled in time travel modules as well, but getting the concept down and getting it executed well, because yeah, me and him are big Doctor Who fans and timey-wimey. We love those stuff, and trying to get the concept down so it fits into what I'm writing and how it is presented and how it's executed took a lot of effort, because it's just so many moving elements. You have to make sure that you're consistent between the present and the past or the future or wherever.
Yeah, it might be one that's easy for you to run because it's in your head, but it would be interesting to see how other DMs
Yeah.
would
But because
connect it and hold it together.
Because it's a 2-hour module, it's actually still very streamlined,
Yeah.
and the time travel elements are. It's more. It's almost. It's there, but it's not heavy. Like I would say, it's like you can flavor certain elements, and there is an element that was we kind of skipped over, but it was a fun little Easter egg that if we had more time, it was the dead bodies in the after the first area.
Oh yeah, after we got rid of the rock.
Oh yeah.
We rolled really bad, so
We didn't roll bad at all. The whole
But-
game was full of really good dice rolls.
I
Oh,
have
yeah.
rolling badly.
Don't know what you're
Never-
talking about.
Don't even know.
Okay, but the medicine check was we did roll well. We rolled well for the spells and everything, but the medicine check was meant to be a creepy homage to, hey, why are there 4 of them, and why, or 5 of them in a sense, why are there 5 of them, and why do their clothes look familiar or look exactly the same?
Oh, I missed that
That's so
detail,
good.
and I
No,
couldn't
no,
see
but
how
I-
many there were on the board.
Yeah,
What
they were
was
just
the
spread
answer?
out. The answer was meant to be like in a different timeline. You were basically
That
killed.
was us?
Yes.
I love that shit. That's
Oh
amazing.
my god!
So if you got a decent medicine check or just a deceptive check, you would have noticed, hey, is this us?
So we didn't. You didn't. I mean, when a game is going, like, so much stuff's happening.
Yeah.
We didn't get that clue at all.
No,
You
you
didn't give
didn't.
it. Oh my goodness, that would have
Because
been so good.
you got the spells, but you didn't get the medicine or the perception of just the clothes. So
Yeah.
Right.
because
Someone's been watching Army of the Dead.
I watched a lot of time travel shows. So
but it's also just elements of like multiple, multiple versions of time. It's like in that version, and also because the
That
way
would
that
have been really
temple-
good and creepy.
Yeah.
Well, you got the reaction now anyway.
Yeah.
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 yeah. But hopefully, I guess I know that, like you said, it is our module, so we probably know how to run it the way we want it. But I'm hoping that because of how we wrote it, and we didn't really cram. Hopefully, we didn't cram too many things into it. As long as everyone is able to just understand like how it, I guess, the main parts of it and how it flows as a whole.
Yeah, as long as I
can-
can understand those detailed points where the two
Yeah.
things connect. Yeah.
You can
They
add
should be able
your
to connect
elements.
dots from there.
Yeah.
So hopefully, it'll be good to understand, how we could build this module further by, I guess, feedback. Hopefully, people are able to, at least attempt the time travel aspects.
One of us will just have to run it. Like that's the answer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
try.
just thinking from knowing that last little bit about the bodies are meant to be potentially a different timeline, you could almost throw in a thing where random roll as you get into the area before the door, every character loses an item.
Yeah.
Find it on your respective dead
Ooh.
skeleton 2 rooms in.
My
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah, but you could literally have that because it's not much has happened at that point. They'd get the item back pretty quickly, but all of a sudden it's linked like, hang on a minute, that's my item on. Is that my skeleton?
Yeah. That'd be good.
Mm.
There is
It
one
was,
moment
Fluffy.
from the module that's going to stick with me, and it's just the way, Stephen, you described looking up into the sky and seeing meteor swarms coming down and hitting the shield. That's just so cinematic. Like,
No, that's me with certain scenes. And you know me, I'm like you, Mike. I love a good cinematic scene.
yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole thing.
No, it's like some enemies have released a whole bunch of meteor swarms, and you know you block it as best you can. This one with prismatic walls and all the other different walls, wall of force, magic, and basically it's just all that stuff.
I have one more audience question before we leave the topic of wild magic related things, which is, and this is a broad one, not specific to this game, and this one can be for everyone, including Stephen and Hugh. What is your favourite item on the wild magic table? Mike, I'll start with you. I know you thought about this one.
Yes, it is number 7, which reads as follows. You cast Fireball as a 3rd level spell centered on yourself. And every single time that's happened, it's always been the most memorable, like funniest part of the game. So I think anytime anyone ever rolls a wild magic surge, they secretly hope to get a 7 or an 8.
Oh, right. Yeah. Joel, do you have a favourite?
Look, it's a toss up between two, and it's only because of all the times it's impacted me. There's the good one, well, the good hilarious one, and then the bad one.
Yeah,
the good hilarious one is always summoning Flumps, because
Uh-huh.
Flumps just makes any game hilarious. And the amount of times their Flumps have been summoned, and for some reason every DM has decided to run a Flump as the most sarcastic, witty, deadpan creature known to man, or absolute chaos, just is great. But the one that always seems to get my characters, especially when the last time I played a wild magic sorcerer was in Mark's Descent into Avernus, with played with like Imogen and Amelia and Tim and everything. And then, oh my god, the Yelenia, every time she would cast her wild magic, and like every second or third time, it'd be like, and you're banished to the astral plane. Yep, cool. There goes my turn. There goes everything. I had everything perfectly set up and banished to the astral plane.
Nice.
Every time.
Stephen, what's your favourite item on the wild magic table?
I am gonna cheat. Technically Flumps is one of them, but I have two. So one that actually came up was Dead rolled, and he got the pot plant.
Oh yeah,
love a good pot plant. And the other one is because certain times, especially Laura, if you're there, one of Icewind Dale campaign, she was a wild magic sorcerer, and she kept aging and de-aging. And legally in AL, you can only be at minimum 13.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes she was a little girl, sometimes she was 30, and she just kept back and forth, going different ages.
Oh my goodness, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Hugh, what about you?
Well, barring the unicorn one, I think one favorite of mine would actually be the invisibility one.
Yeah.
It has come in clutch many times, not gonna lie. So that's one I do sometimes hope for, and as fate has it, sometimes just get it.
Nice.
Either that or potted plant.
I love seeing just any dwarf getting immunity to alcohol.
That's right. Yeah, that one reads. I was looking at. I don't know this table very well. I think I've only probably played around wild magic sorcerers a few times. But yeah, that one's you're immune to being intoxicated for alcohol for the next 5d6 days.
And there's a reference on when you go into the Forgotten's private room, and you have that nice altar table with all those items and the unicorn horn.
The mug.
Yes, the mug, the empty mug.
Oh, that's right. All those items were
References.
references to the table, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to put as many Easter eggs as we can. Hopefully,
Yeah, because that's the good thing about Easter eggs is that if when people see them, they feel clever. And
Yeah.
you know, one of the whole points of a game like this is to make your players feel clever via their characters. So yeah, Easter eggs are terrific as long as they're not in jokes that make people feel silly. And that was good. I think Mike, you spotted it, didn't you? That they were all like representations of wild magic table things.
Probably if I did, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it could have been Joel, but I think it was on my right.
We were originally thinking they were the spell components, and then we
that's right.
Then it was like, oh yeah, wait, these all link to different things, like especially the mug and the
You had the
mug
classic
and the feather.
You had the classic, though I have the module up. You had the classic, like the calcified bat guano.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately kit next to you
Gives
with
you Fireball.
Fireball, but then number 7 on the wild magic table, Fireball. Things like we had the feather, which makes you have your feather beard.
The feather beard.
The multicolored wig, obviously, is a link to both
losing all your hair.
Losing all your hair. An empty ale mug is you can't get drunk. Yeah. Nice. A dried plant stem.
For the potted plant.
Yes. And a vial of blue ink dye. That's my favorite item on that.
That's right, yeah. The change.
You know how many times I've turned blue? Like at least 7 or 8 times.
Oh, goodness.
I get it every single time, this freaking blue.
I think I've only like had this happen in like 3 or 4 games, and I've turned blue twice.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Got a feathered beard once. Yeah. And now I'm taller. Yay. I have a question about Forgotten. It's a bit longer, so let me read this out. I know Forgotten is supposed to be ambiguous in appearance, but I don't get how the ambiguity works. Are they different every time you see them? Are they different to each person, or just different being whatever the DM wants?
It is different to whatever the DM wants and what they want to show in their game. Because the Forgotten could be it's chaos incarnate, and I'm leaving it up to the players to make their own like powerful teacher, like Yoda like figure, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And they get to choose what form that takes. The Harlequin is just I enjoy. I have a very thing about mask.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
But in general, it's like you can decide their gender, race, whatever they want to be, and how that fits in whatever setting you want to connect it to. In terms of that, because they could, the law on it is very loose in a sense, because it's like, there is a lot to do with magic in the time, especially because technically, when you made him, it's about 1,000 years ago, just before Castus' Folly. So that's around when it's set, and at least the second half anyway. But it's any gender, any pronoun, he is chaotic good. He's on the chaotic good scale because he's like a representation of chaos, but usually always chaos is represented as evil or malicious. People forget there are good aspects to chaos.
God, I have so many chaotic good characters.
Yeah. And I was celebrating those, like characters like those, who are doing their best and want to help, but also wild magic chaos.
Yeah. All right, let's go kind of upper level. Question for Mike and Joel, particularly. Now that we've played all the inciting incidents, do your characters have any theories about what's going on behind the scenes that might link all these adventures together?
Ooh, that's a good one. See, I have been very, very bad at watching all of the modules.
Yeah.
So I have missed a few. So I haven't seen the in between weeks the episodes that I was on. I've missed. So I need to go back and rewatch things. I don't know. There's something happening, and I feel like there's one more piece of the puzzle before this thing. I'm gonna get I feel like I'm gonna get that piece of the puzzle, figure it out, and then go, I'm not playing in the last module. So that's the downside. But
we can pretend in our heads that our characters are at the last module.
Yeah, just on the sidelines.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get somebody to rerun it for Zina and Remain.
Yeah.
And those who also aren't.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I think though, there's lots of possibilities. Yeah, I will be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see when it does get to the final module. Because correct me if I'm wrong, that Brendan wrote the final module. Is that right? Because he's running. Yes. Okay. Cool. Right. Yes. Yeah. Knowing Brendan, I'm assuming he tied a lot of neat little things all together in a pretty little bow.
I bet he did. What do you
Yeah.
reckon, Mike?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I wrote one of the inciting incidents.
Yeah. Okay. So you
I-
know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know more than I can let on, is what I'll
Yeah.
say. But
Okay.
from Braddock's perspective, trying to kind of think about what he would have experienced, and as a wizard himself, surely he's noticed that a lot of these things that are happening are magical in nature.
Yeah.
Some first off, we had in the mutated guy from Signs of Corruption, that we went into the basement and there was like experimentation going on. And then in this particular module, Book of Wild Magic, there's just chaos magic and insane, some necromancy stuff there as well. So,
There's
and
all the mind control in the Broken Stronghold.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. That's
illusion,
side
enchantment kind of
adjacent to
stuff.
magic. Yeah.
And there is a particular name that has come up a couple of times, which is the name Velmok.
Yes.
Oh.
And I shall say
Has
no
come
more.
up.
Yeah.
That has come up multiple times.
Yeah. So I've had this question asked in a different episode. I'm going to answer for Zina. Zina totally has this sorted out because Zina, this is her thing. Zina is high int. Zina is a war strategist. Zina will like put all the strings together. Donna can't remember anything the moment she finishes it. Anyway, no, I certainly have, and because I ran one at least. I mean, I didn't write it, but I could. The one I remember best is the one that I ran. But I can certainly tell that there is some corruption of magic. That's going to be as close as I can get with a terrible inability to actually kind of reflect and go through all my experiences and tie them together, unless I had like notes, and then I would be able to do it. But Zina's got this.
Yeah.
I might actually take some notes before next week.
Yeah.
So
I think
that Zina can lean in potentially if needed.
I think that is actually one of the things that, for me, at least this season, I'm not playing a wizard. As most of you know, I always enjoy playing my high-end magic users. But being on stream, I just find it very difficult to write notes, which is not normally what I do. I'm normally a prolific note taker to the point of stopping the game to be like, asking the DM multiple questions to make sure I've written it down right.
Yeah.
But obviously knowing a time limit and knowing that, we're on show, it's not writing as many notes is funny. And then by the time I've flown back to Sydney and then gone back to work, then remember to pack my stuff for the next trip down, I'm like, who am I playing again? D&D. No, my brain is definitely not playing catch up, but
games in between. Like I was like, hang on, I've got a character called Xavier, and we're playing Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So like Faye,
similar.
So I was like, I think Xavier is kind of like Puff. I'm like, hang on, Zina, Xavier, Puff, who did this? Yeah. We will not see Edgy again in on screen. Like we're still, I mean, I think we really should see if we can do this, like run the last couple of modules for the characters who
missed out,
particularly the last one, but we can do that. We can do that like separately. It'd be really cool, and then we could get Edgy back. But again, Mike and Joel, can you think of your favorite Edgy moment?
Ari just brings so many to the table. Oh,
I'm just going to see if they're on. Nah, he's not on
look,
Twitch.
I'm really struggling.
Because this was the first one I ran for Ari in a while. Just using of dead magic. The first time he surprised me with trying to just use talk with dead, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
The first one I didn't plan that out, but then it's not actually in the module. But hey, let's ham it up. I know how to make some fun with talk with dead,
Yeah.
and Ari perfectly leaned into it. Maybe unintentionally, but it was some awesome things he said.
I'll share mine while you think, Joel. From the Broken Stronghold, when Ari just made that mad plan based on what was the feature, the disguise, the ability to
his actor, the actor feat, where he's like,
you can be anyone and you're
Yeah.
really convincing. Yeah, like that. That was like such overkill for what was necessary to achieve what we needed
for us
to do.
to get into,
And it was so good.
Yeah.
and the look on Mike's face just running back, just going, "Oh, I don't what?"
Yeah.
Then followed up by the next time we're on stream, where it was the reverse. We're now calling this the Ari, the reverse Ari of, here's these prisoners, go forth, and I'm just going to go to the pub for an hour,
And then turn up being a professor.
Yeah, and then turn up being someone else using the same act. I was like,
The funny
what?
thing about playing with Ari at the table is you see it go across his face. You see him go, "Oh my God, I've got the funniest idea ever." And you just it's just going to come out.
Yes. And for anyone that I'm not sure, I'd have to go back and watch the stream. So I know we have the different camera angles, and shout out to the camera ops and everyone that I see the little red lights flicking on and off because they're flicking back and forth when we're about to jump in and say something, and then I get distracted and someone else talks.
Yeah.
But literally, there is times where sitting next to Ari, I can see him go, and I'm like, cool, he's about to say something, and then he just comes out with the most left-wing, left-brained idea, and I'm like, this has not even computed yet before it's already been said, and I'm like, oh, let's see where this one goes. Yeah.
My favorite Ari moment, not edgy moment, was, hey, can I tell you a story about a peacock? I didn't have to. I didn't do it. I'm like,
that's right. It wasn't even in character. It was just let me tell you a story
about my neighbor's peacock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We love you, Ari.
Oh, we totally do. Yeah, we do. That's all kind,
Yeah.
and I mean, look how much we're loving it.
It's a shame Ari's not playing into tier 3, which I just remembered I need to level up my character for next week.
I do too.
Oh my God, tier 3. This is next week. This will be our first tier 3 for obviously 5 Foot Step. We are we've evolved out of tier 2 into tier 3, where death is more permanent.
I had a lot of fun picking my level 6 spells.
I don't know what to level up with.
I don't either. I have to think about it later.
Yeah,
I have the best question to end tonight's episode on. Okay. This is where Donna goes, "Oh my God, I've had the best, funniest idea ever." I am curious, how might this game have been different if Joel could roll above a 1?
Of course, this is the last question. This is what Donna decided.
It's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a good question. I will let other
You go
people
first.
talk. No. You can all talk first. I'll just sit here and wallow in the nat ones.
But actually, like what Stephen explained earlier, I rolled some some clangers as well. Had we rolled in that with the skeletons and realized that was us, I think that would have changed the way I really thought about the game. And the other time when I rolled low on Steel Wind Strike, and I was like looking at my dice going, that's terrible. And I even swore on screen, which I haven't done before, even though I swear quite a lot in real life. I thought that I'd missed because I rolled like a 9 with a +6 or vice versa, but it was actually a DC 15 and a hit. So that was when I thought my rolls are terrible. I thought that it was going to be a big miss, but in the end it was actually a really good hit. So that was different.
And was that the killing blow on the unicorn or something?
It was.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a good way to end the game. Like,
Yeah.
Even with an almost miss and then a low damage roll.
Yeah.
Um,
Mike, what do you reckon?
I can't remember any specific moments where I was like, oh, we really needed to succeed, because the adventure was written in a way that allowed us to fail forward even if we
Yeah.
weren't getting everything necessarily.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny, like, everyone has an off day. Remain, perhaps the lettuce wilted a little bit, but it will be back to
Yeah.
full crispiness next time.
yeah,
I love
let's.
I love that the awareness at the end of, oh, I can re-roll ones.
Oh,
The lucky feat.
my
My
lucky
God.
feat.
My
The
God,
fact
that was so good.
I remember.
That's why we need time travel.
Yeah, where was the time? I remember coming down to Melbourne for the first week of this season, and because I'd built the character a few weeks earlier and put it all into the spreadsheet, put in the artwork, done all of the bits and pieces, and then promptly went and not bothered to look at anything for Remain for about 4 weeks. And so I'm there remembering getting mic'd up for the very first episode, going through D&D Beyond, going through my character sheet going, oh, we can do that. We can do that. Oh, we can do about 18 different things for an action. Oh, we can do about 7 different things in a bonus action. What do you mean I have 11 reactions? Oh, there's feats. I'm going, yeah. And I remember Mitch just going, you like to overcomplicate it, don't you? And I'm like, yes, I do. But yes, forgetting that I had the lucky feat to be able to re-roll some of those things. But
So funny.
Mike is correct. Either someone else rolled or the roll didn't really matter on the skill checks. Either I had there was quite a few times I had advantage, so the rolls weren't the nat ones that were coming weren't what was actually happening, but also my companion rolls were 2, 4, 6, or a 7. So that's something I've got to do this weekend. There is a cupboard there, and there is a big gigantic box there on either side of me in my bedroom, where there is about 100 other sets of dice. And
Yeah, right.
I'm going to bring a different set next week.
Yeah.
And bring a tier 3 set, I think.
Warm them up, get them
Yeah.
ready to roll 20s when we need to roll 20s.
Yes, that will be fun. I might even write myself a cheat sheet, such as you have the lucky feat.
Yeah.
How many times has someone playing a halfling had to write, you can re-roll
Yeah.
ones at the top of their cat? Yeah, I think I need that. So I don't know if our fabulous tech crew will ever just do a compilation of all the dice rolls. So I know, talking to the all the tech crew, where in that studio we were in, because of the camera angles, because there was a much smaller studio than usual, and the camera angles were very specific. My dice were the only ones they could get, which is why I think there's a few times we could hear them in the background cheering from, that was them actually getting the dice rolls on camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, whole heap of nat ones just for that little compilation of, here's all our dice rolls. They're terrible.
All right. Well, while we're talking about remembering next week that you can re-roll nat ones.
Yes.
Next week, we are back with a module written by Alec called Syncopated Denouement. I'm not sure about my pronunciation. With, again, me, Joel, Brendan, and Mike. I am very look very. Hang on. Sentences. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you all next week. 7 p.m. on Twitch.
Yes. Oh, tier 3.
Exciting.
Yes, no, this is exciting.